What's up, y'all? My name's Patrick Ryan, and this is Crossword Gaming Talking Heads. Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition, which is like a weird, sort of dumbed down graphically version of Final Fantasy 15, but is also somehow still the entire game. That's coming to mobile, and there's been some rumors about it coming to the Switch because the full version, even though it is running in Unreal, just the Switch just can't handle it. It's been rumors that the Pocket Edition is coming to Switch. Anyway, it's being released in episodes, which I guess is something that Square Enix is going to be trying out a lot more because if you'll remember, the Final Fantasy VII remake for PlayStation 4 is also being released in episodes. I'm not personally a huge fan of that, but I'm also all for companies trying new things out and just seeing what works, and if that's something that's going to work for them, then hey, more power to them. Anyway, the Pocket Edition of Final Fantasy 15. If you've played the DS versions of Final Fantasy 3 and Final Fantasy 4, you know what this kind of looks like. They're chibi versions of all the characters, and everything's kind of blocky and just real. I don't want to say low poly, but you've seen it. You know what I'm talking about. It's coming out for mobile, and the first episode has a release date of February 9th, which is actually really, really, really close. I do believe that cost money. Let me look here at my source. Yes, so when all 10 chapters are finally released, you'll be able to buy the whole thing for $20, or uh, if you decide to do everything piecemeal, the first chapter is free, and then subsequent chapters are 99 cents, or at least the next two chapters. Clearly, the chapters after that are going to be more expensive if they're selling the entire thing for $20. As someone who hasn't played Final Fantasy 15, this might be a way that I look into it. I'm not real crazy about the idea of playing it on my smartphone, but if it came out for the Switch, or maybe they release it somehow for PC, or I guess maybe I could get an Android emulator and play it that way, this might be a good way for me to experience this game that, by all accounts, I've been told is freaking amazing. Uh, for anyone who's not aware, the story kind of takes place around these four guys who are in a car, and they're driving cross country to save the kingdom or whatever it is they're trying to do. It's supposed to be a throwback to old Final Fantasy games, which actually made me very happy. There's a lot of like inside video game jokes. I think there's a point where they make an Earthbound reference from the Super Nintendo game. There's a lot of weird product placement in it that I hear is done really, really well and really, really funny. From everything that I'm told, it's one of the best Final Fantasy games to come out, especially in a very, very, very long time. Everybody was really disappointed with 13. We all remember when Final Fantasy 14 came out initially, and it was not received very well. They've since fixed that. I actually played 14 for a little while after it got relaunched, and I enjoyed it for what it was. Final Fantasy 12, I think a lot of people remember fondly, and 10 and stuff like that. But the Final Fantasy has kind of taken a hit, and I think in a lot of people's eyes. And so it's really good to see that 15 has sort of brought this staple in video games back up to where we used to think of it fondly versus where it has been in the last little while. So maybe I'll be picking it up on mobile, but again, I hope that they decide to go ahead and put this version on the Switch. To be honest with you, I'm more into the stylized things anyway, and yes, I realize chibi is a style. It's not a style that a lot of people like all the time, but I think it just does better than when you shoot for photorealism, because photorealism doesn't always age real well. It looks amazing now, but 2 or 3 years from now, when photorealism has come along even better, we'll look back on things that look photorealistic today and go, wow, that just didn't look good. So I'm actually a lot more inclined to play this version than I am the regular version, but we'll see. We'll see. Maybe since the first chapter is free, I'll pick it up and see what it is and how it goes. And of course, that's what they want you to do. They want you to pick up the first chapter and then like it and then want to shell out $20 for the rest of the game. So, yep. Look forward to that on February 19th in the iOS App Store or the Google Play Store. This has been Patrick Ryan with CrossForge Gaming Talking Heads, and I'll talk to you later.